paused, I guess.
Okay.
I gotta go to my VODs. I think I just go to my channel. Watch my videos. Just give me a second, dude. Scram my shit team, Kappa. Just give me a second here. I do appreciate this because I want someone else's view. Like we never played together before, and like I always get told, if I'm picking for my team, I should get someone to do a quick look at it. And I'm not even like about the gameplay.
So are you really just looking for like if like the draft is good and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, like we could have done better maybe in the draft, and maybe
Okay.
what you'd think the lanes were, and then we can maybe like look into the game for like 30 seconds and see what we decide the lanes were.
Okay.
We ended up facing Spectre twice, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, I just want my phone
Yeah, I
to.
mean, if there's anything specific in either of the games that you want me to look at, then I can do that.
The only complaint I have, dude, is second game we almost threw like 25 minutes. We were super far ahead, and we threw. Did I start the stream? I did. Why is my phone not showing it then? Cause no, to like read chat, I use my phone. So
Yeah, I've got your stream pulled up. It's showing you there.
yeah, but on my phone it isn't. Like my phone lately hasn't been showing it right away. Good start to a video that I'm not gonna edit, by the way.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nobody's gonna watch it anyways. I might not even post it on YouTube. Like that was the idea of making it just its own separate thing. So it is finally showing on my phone. You're good to go?
Yep.
Okay, you eat and I eat and we'll be good to go, okay. Put
I made
this
way
on
too much
video
pasta.
mode. What does my... it's nice because like when I full screen it... Oh wait, I want to full screen it without chat though. Oh ho ho! Dude, it's like my camera's covering my camera now.
Almost.
Oh, is it a little off? Oh, now it will be.
Oh, there it is.
So I think it's like... Honestly, it's for me if I really want to watch it later.
I think
Like,
it's
watch what I did and be like,
I
fuck,
think
I'm
it's
retarded,
like
This time, it's gonna happen right away. I think this is the right time. Oh yeah, it is captain's mode. So the first time when I started the video, we had it on all pick.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Round 3.
So you said that these were people that you hadn't
Oh.
played with before?
Yeah, this is like a brand new. This game is like brand new. Like
Okay.
with these 4 people. I played with the Shaw and Raxon before, and Danny's a BSJ or was a BSJ sub like a year ago, and I played with him for a few games. But
So
all
you didn't
5.
really have any idea of like I'm gonna focus on picking this hero and et cetera, et cetera. It was just kind of figure shit out as you go.
Yeah, so I knew Carl plays. He said he played like Veno, Invoker, Marana, Storm, something else. I just kind of went in, and I'm like, we'll find out what we play. Idea what these guys play.
Okay.
And
Um,
I didn't. I normally I like
guys
check
look
to see what people
ridiculous
play,
as
but on
well.
like Dota Buff.
Warlock.
Or can shoot.
Yeah, I was about to ask. You probably didn't do too much research on the other people.
That new hero, dude.
We do have first pick, so
No, we planned it out like
Yeah.
last second. Like so, like you can tell, like
Yeah.
our team is 3 legends and 2 archons. Their team had 3 legends and
I've
2
never played
archons. No,
Captain's Club
archon
before.
and crusader.
I have, but
So we were
last
really
time I
close
played
in
it,
skill.
so.
Ah, Crusader.
He's the crusader 4 or 5, so, and he's playing support. Not a big deal in this MMR.
yeah, you can always just what's gonna be good against where you're drafting.
Yeah, I just kind of looked to see what they played, and
Okay.
a lot of. That was my research. I didn't do any Dota buff. Normally, I do spend like an hour before a game or the day before to see.
favorite hero.
Yeah, because I mean, for these like first couple bans, that's kind of it's either you're targeting someone on the other team because there's either a hero that they're just really good with, or like they only play one hero, so you might as well ban it.
Maybe
Um,
they don't like Zeus.
Otherwise, it's just kind
They
of
ban Tinker.
I hate playing
What?
Zeus.
dumb heroes do we not want to play against?
Yeah, so like, I banned Weaver because I saw the one guy that played Weaver, and Weaver's good this meta
Yeah, Weaver's a pretty decent hero.
right now. So, but I did ban. Oh, I'll just pause because I don't want to hear my voice for a minute. I did ban. I mean, not ban, but like in like last season, I played in AD2L with like government. We faced a team and we banned the guy's offlane heroes because he only played 3 offlane heroes all the time. So we just outbanned him, and we made him play like his 4th best offlane hero. So something like that we did. You know what? I feel like.
That's why I gotta have a hero pool.
What?
More than just Alk and Brood.
I play more than Alchem Brood, dude.
Yeah, wait.
I ban neither. Actually, I'm gonna ban neither. And I know, like, those are my 2 favorite heroes. I don't even play Brood anymore.
Yeah, that was a hero that I always liked to think I was really good at.
Brood?
And then, yeah, I just didn't play it for a long time, and then I got better, and I looked back at how I used to play it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that is all incorrect. I was not doing anything right.
I banned Enchantress there. I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna take Dark Willow. We're good with it. Neither of my supports play Dark Willow, by the way.
I am not playing that hero, so
Sounds good.
I don't know any comments on the draft or their draft. I thought their first 2 bans were really weird, Zeus and Tinker.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first couple bans are just kind of, you either know someone on the other team is good at the hero, or you just really don't want to play against those heroes yourself.
You could have this
So-
as the 4 or the 5.
Given that this is just amateur Dota League, it's kind of hard to comment on that.
Yeah, we're like probably average 2.9k, so.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, like, those are all, with the exception of Venge, those are kind
That
of,
was like.
the other 5 are like pub stompy kind of heroes, and,
Yeah.
not wanting to play against a hero that'll like pub stomp the game kind of makes a little sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Venge is just kind of generally a good support.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually. Like I won't spoil the second game, but it's really interesting what they did. But yeah, actually I banned Bloodseeker a lot in my games during last season. Blitch?
That's a good. I'll get Ruby.
Well, Bloodseeker is also just a really good like
We're taking him.
potential last pick for a mid hero.
Mm-hmm. He's
'Cause,
such
like,
a good hero.
People who do want to play
He's so good.
kind of the more farming
He is.
mids like Invoker or Alchemist or something like that. Like you just
Blank.
last pick a Bloodseeker, put that mid, and then
Lord
all the
sent
time that
me
they
a
want to
message
spend
on
just
Tinder.
hitting creeps, they all of a sudden
That's a
can't
hard
because there's a
no.
Bloodseeker with the Quelling Blade and Blood Rage last hitting for like
100.
95 or something
So,
something
this race
stupid
can
like
be
that damage,
1 or
and you
3,
just
right?
can't do anything about it.
Get this draft. What
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
I played some
Lauren told me
Bloodseeker, a
that's
couple
a
of
hard
games
no.
mid, but we won.
So I think that's gonna be a deal breaker.
What's the deal breaker?
Listen, it's 2018. If you don't eat ass,
Oh, I was on Tinder and a girl swiped right on me, and I asked her if she ate ass, and she responded no. And I was just, as you can see, I'm like, I'm playing very seriously.
I'd clean my.
Feels good to
I don't know. What do you think of the draft? Like, I did a standard opener
Like,
from like
yeah,
TI, dude.
I'm like,
Yeah, I mean Willow
Listen,
Wraith King's a pretty.
what
dropped
if
my
we
glasses.
both
Pretty
hopped in
good
a
lane.
shower and we
Yeah.
both
I've
took turns
had to
cleaning?
lane against it a couple times. It's not fun.
Sorry, I swear to God.
Like, what do you do? Like, not against Willow. You have to like confront the Willow Wraith
They
King.
banned Ursa.
I thought they would have
Yeah,
picked
but
Ursa.
the issue with that is
I'm
like
not
if you
touching
don't
this
have
bristleback.
a support or a carry or whatever that
that
can actually do something against Willow while she's in
Yeah.
like Shadow Realm or whatever the fuck that skill's called, like
Mhm.
you kind of just take that.
So I banned Bristleback because they banned Ursa. I don't know if that's like a good ban or not. one of my players doesn't like facing him. I don't have the biggest deal playing against Bristleback. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's another hero that if you
What
give him a
if-
good start,
what
they
if
can
they're thinking
certainly
that
just
outclass
steamroll a lane. But
Spectre.
It's
Spectre.
and then they pick Spectre right away. And I think we talk about Alchemist briefly.
It's still breaking to 3.
That's why they banned Ursa.
yeah,
Undying?
Alchemist is supposed to be a really good hero against Spectre.
Yeah, we
Oh,
talked
five
about that,
Undying?
and then
You kind of play the same game that Spectre
Okay,
wants
so
to,
I won't
but
lie.
because
I
you
almost
have
want to play
Previl's
Alchemist.
Greed,
I
you
like
just kind of do it
Alchemist
at a
against Spectre. I like him against
super accelerated pace.
yeah,
Earthshaker's
yeah, I'm talking about it right now. I'm like, I
you
want to
can
play
like,
Alchemist.
so we need to get a hero good against.
What if Vena's pursuing...
The only issue with that is, like I said, if you
Necromancer's good for Spectre.
if you pick your mid in the second
like
phase
Venom
like
Necro.
that, then like Ursa's ban, which is
I like
probably
Venom would have to be
the biggest
one.
mid alch counter. But
Maybe it's
if Bloodseeker was still there, then you
Let's,
just
I'll
pick
pick
Bloodseeker, and then all of a sudden Alch can't do anything.
Yeah,
What do you want, a 5?
yeah, I'd ban Bloodseeker if I want to pick Elk,
I
right?
was thinking Earthshaker.
Phoenix?
Yeah, those two
Can we play
heroes, you just
Silent? Is Silent
really can't
Silent?
lane against it. Like I haven't actually played the lane, so I don't know exactly what
Undying
makes
isn't
it
that
as
bad
strong as it
against
is,
him,
but
honestly.
He just denies everything, and Elk can't last it.
well, for Bloodseeker, but for Ursa, I mean, because I
Oh.
know it's really easy for you to stack up the Fury swipes, obviously.
Oh,
but-
Ursa versus Alchemist?
Yeah, because
Oh.
you just slow him and run at him.
Yeah, no, Ursa
I don't
just
know.
destroys him. He has like Alchemist has like no armor, so Alchemist.
Yeah,
just
I just haven't actually watched the lane, so I don't know if there's anything more than that, or if it's literally just, okay, slam the ground and I'm gonna punch you in the face a lot.
I have played the lane as Ursa and as Alchemist,
That's a good
and
hero.
I can confirm that one hero is always gonna lose the lane, unless if it's like, let's say the Clown versus me, where he can probably maybe take me on as Alchemist.
Awesome.
He's a good hero.
So who would you have picked here? This is what I want to know. Is I picked Undying because I'm like they don't have many right clickers was my thought, and I'm like Undying Wraith King's pretty strong, and that's like another like tanky frontliner.
Yeah, Undying is just really good against Spectre as a whole, because Spectre is not a hero that deals with the Tombstone particularly well, and you kind of just want to sit in the lane and farm as Spectre, and if you do that, then Undying just sits there and spams Decay on you, and then all of a sudden you've got like 250 max HP, and you get soul ripped and just die.
That's kind of why I picked Undying. But question: Earthshaker. Can I pick Undying into an Earthshaker?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I forget if I don't think the zombies actually add to Echo Slam. I'll look it up real quick.
I don't know either. I thought they did, but I didn't think of that when I picked him. I
Yeah,
thought,
that's the only reason that I think it might be bad.
I saw Lich and I saw
But-
Spectre, and I'm like, these aren't right clickers. And I had a feeling they're gonna pick right clickers later in the draft. So, but
Yeah, I mean, Undying isn't really a hero that you ever want to last pick, so...
yeah, exactly. So it's like I gotta pick him. But I think against Spectre, I think he's okay just because he's so good early game. I'm not even saying lane against Spectre, just in general. You can put him in the lane and he can just press Q.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you're supposed to do with Undying. You just follow Spectre around and ruin their life.
I forget. I think we might have had Wraith King Dark Willow against Spectre, but I'm not sure. We might have put him bottom and had Veno. We grab a Veno, by the way, as our 21st pick, I guess. Spoiler alert. I think they picked Mirana as 17 pick too.
Yeah, I mean, Mirana's definitely a hero that can deal with the Tombstone.
Yeah, and Mirana's like how good is like isn't Mirana's okay against like Dark Willow. If Dark Willow tries to TP, you have a stun, right?
Yeah, the
Arrow.
the arrow being able to stun without actually targeting someone is really good against that hero. But then you have to hold the arrow, and usually you're not really initiating on someone unless you actually get that. But I guess with the with someone like Earthshaker on the team, they don't necessarily need the arrow to initiate a fight. So, and I'd say that Murano was a really good pick, if that's what they go for next.
I think they do. Oh, do you know about the Undying? I heard you were typing, so.
Oh yeah, I just looked it up on the Dota wiki real quick. I didn't see anything about it. I'm pretty sure that doesn't have anything to do with it.
I don't think it does. I know Red King skeletons do, but generally you pop that out to push towers, not for to win a big fight. So I'll
They
continue in the
banned
video.
Ursa, so we Gucci.
We banned Ursa, so we Gucci. Yeah, that's all I was thinking. Is I'm like, dude, no Ursa.
Undying Raid King is good, dude. Okay.
I got a new Carl.
Man, I'm so like
Can't open
annoying.
link if you have people
Yeah,
behind you.
see, they picked
Thanks.
Mirana.
Mirana.
And I pick Alchemist here.
guys, if I'm gonna pick Alchemist, it's gonna be this pick.
What do you think?
Oscar again,
What do you think of the
Also,
Alchemist
yeah.
pick right now? I think it's
I
strong.
think I can rip some shit, so I'm gonna pick.
It's Ruby, isn't it? Maybe not, no.
I mean, no offense to all of you guys, but
I could.
I'm sure none of you were thinking about putting Mirana safe lane, so it was almost definitely mid.
Oh, sorry, I just came
Um,
back. My roommate came back from the Philippines.
You mean Mirana offlane?
There you go. That's me.
Like
Oh.
that Mirana.
Sorry, no, I was thinking the other way around.
Dude, no.
I was looking at your guys' heroes and thinking
Oh.
Mirana would fit into that.
I wish we picked Silencer. Silencer fucks up Miranum, dude.
So what would that be?
Okay, we can pick two. We could be
I don't know,
Speedy and we could pick a Terrorblade if we want. but-
I'm not sure I like their lane so far because the whole idea about the Lich is that you want to put him in the off lane and just
For a-
win by a war of
Carry
attrition
on.
and denying the other team
Yeah,
farm
something
and
like that.
experience from the range creeps.
I like Venom.
But then that leaves Spectre Earthshaker for a safe lane, which I really don't think is good.
Venom's
at
not
all.
bad. I know
It's
you
pretty
play
bad.
Venom. Venom's definitely.
And especially into an Undying or
Adds a lot of magic damage.
yeah, if that's how you guys wanted to do it, like Undying Wraith King, like I don't know how you ever walk up to the lane as Spectre.
Yeah, they have a lot of magic damage though.
They banned Juggernaut. I don't know. I think that's a
I
waste
don't
of a
think
ban.
it's stacked.
Yeah.
Well, Jug is supposed to be really good
Yeah, it
against
helps kill
Spectre.
Spectre. You know, Spectre's just hard.
Stadium
None of them
offlaner,
have
they
any
need mid- They either need an offlaner,
magic immune
so-
piercing disables. So like spin TP is always going to be really good.
I think Storm.
Who did I
The-
ban?
Storm ban. Storm ban.
That ban makes sense, but
Storm's
we don't have
too
that much
greedy,
lockdown.
dude. They're
I don't know.
not
I feel like
good.
if you do that, then
No, they
but,
are
one of your lanes
Oh.
is kind of lacking some control.
ban a Monkey King.
Like I think Monkey King was a good ban for
Because
me.
we have 3 melees.
Just because we had look at that. I'm just talking about it. We have 3
Yeah, man, we
melees.
should have banned Act, man. Get your max.
Like I don't want to play Monkey King versus like
Axe is
Alchemist.
fucking
I'd rather.
Viper.
I don't like Viper. I don't like Viper.
What does Viper do in this game?
Actually, no.
We could pick.
Clink's it's a decent Clink's game.
Oh, Zaw
It's
has the
really good
right
Huskar
idea
game,
suggesting a Spectre.
Spectre's-
What?
That is a
I
good,
honestly think
or
Viper
sorry, a Viper,
is fine.
and
You
that
think
is
so?
a good hero against Spectre.
And we can pick Veno and we can put him in the top lane or bottom lane.
I'll go. I think he's.
I went
I'm
Venom,
gonna go
man.
against Spectre, so I'll go up top lane.
I guess Spectre. Why is Spectre's passive, or just how he slows him down, or?
I mean, Veno accomplishes a similar goal, but just the fact that Viper can break him,
Mhm.
because not only does it get rid of the of dispersion, but if someone is being gone on with, like say he mantas or whatever, then Spectre and his illusions get broken, and they also don't get desolate, which, for a pretty large chunk of the game, is most of Spectre's damage.
Yeah.
So if you don't have either of those things, then he's not doing damage in the first place, and then because you don't have to worry about killing yourselves on dispersion, you just kind of turn and kill him.
Okay.
So I mean, that's usually the hero that I end up picking if the other team picks Spectre. I'll just pick a safe lane Viper because
No.
it's a relatively lane dominating hero
No.
as long as you don't get completely shit on
No, I
like,
like Soul Rip
with
or
the first two levels.
That takes their strength.
and he's
Yeah.
got good harass and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, it's not a hero that you want to take into the late game.
Mhm,
It-
yeah.
The talents level
It's
25
solid,
aren't
though.
too bad with
They're great.
what is
all
it
his
like
abilities
plus
are good.
150 damage, something like that, and
Yeah,
metatoxin silencing.
But
damage or
pretty good.
silence,
Do
both level
Q and
25
W
is
and
good.
start with like 5 mangoes, dude.
Yeah, you can
Just-
kind of just push down
Q and
towers,
W
and
kids.
if the other team tries to do anything about if they try to do anything about it, they're likely taking a 4v5 fight because Spectre is going to be off farming somewhere, and if they're taking a 4v5 fight against heroes that are supposed to have good starts, then
Mhm.
you know they just kind of lose the fights and continue losing the game.
Yeah, well, I tried to pick 2 lane dominating heroes, so they picked
What do you want
Lynx
to play,
last.
Rex?
Yeah, I mean Venno can certainly do that,
Honestly don't care.
but I feel like he just has
I like
a lot more difficult time doing it.
Mhm.
I know you're playing
Okay.
one of those two. That's what I was asking.
I was so upset. You know
Do
what I
what?
did? I went and bought the I bought the $200 set
I'll say that.
of Alchemist. I didn't even get to
barely ever
put it
played
on
Willow, just for record.
because I sold my treasure trove for $330, which is now like $400. Like a week ago, like it used to only be $250. It's gone up in price. So I don't
You
know if
missed
people
out.
bought them and then sold them. Well, Gov sold his for cheap too.
Carl, dude, you gotta.
Like, look at this. I'm like,
Control
oh, where is
for
it?
the
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Dark Brew
Sure.
Enforcer.
Okay.
220 Canadian. So it is what it is. It's okay.
I love you.
So
Real bad, though.
I'll wait until like the game.
You actually just straight up bought it.
Yeah, I just straight up bought it, dude. I had $350 in my account
Is it better?
because I
Damn
saw
it!
my.
I didn't
So
get.
much
I just
cooler.
bought the Alchemist set for $220, and I don't have it on.
Is it the purple one? The purple
Yeah.
hand?
Oh man.
Nah, that one's
Yeah, I
cool.
know. I'm
Ah.
just complaining. Just give me a
Ah.
second, man.
Restart.
Nah, it's okay.
Okay, wait. I paused it. We see the heroes. Where would you put our heroes? And where would like if we what lane matchup do we want? Like who do you think's gonna like if I'm going mid no matter what. But my Venno, Wraith King, Undone, and Dark Willow, does it like matter? Is there like a specific matchup I should be like we should be wary about like dodge?
Like I said, I feel like the Undying kind of has to go against Spectre. Like, just follow that hero around and ruin their life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit flexible. You can kind of put that wherever you want to. Clinks is a good hero against Wraith King, so I would probably put Venno wherever that hero goes.
Venno against who?
Against Clinks.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a matchup that Venno is going to win, but it just kind of plays into the whole you might go on Venno with 4 heroes, but if he gets like 2 of his abilities off, then everyone just dies. And it's probably going to be somewhat similar against a Clinks, because although he's got pretty decent base armor, I think, he, what is it, his starting health is like 500, 600
something.
damage, something, or
540
HP, something like
probably.
that. Yeah, like he's just a low HP hero until he gets to level 6, so, I'm not sure, depending on what the support would be. I mean, that's why I said earlier, like, I feel like they're going to have to put Lich off lane so that they could win their off lane, but then they've got a Spectre Earthshaker lane. So,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would probably max Gale at that point. Like Gale and Poison Sting, and then maybe at like level 6 skip your ult and then start putting points in the wards and then just start pushing down the lane. Because like if you put the Tombstone down and then you Gale them and they can't move anywhere, then like it's 2 melee heroes against a Tombstone. Like they're either not going to hit it and die because you just chase them down, or they're going to hit it and kill it, but then you still kill them anyway because they've just taken so much damage at that point.
Well, I think what they did is I think lane match. I don't actually. I forget which lane my Venno and Wraith King ended up at. So I'm using Olavad. I don't think we. I think we'll use Dota for the next game, just because we're not really using my voice, like our thoughts. We
Yeah.
didn't have many thoughts.
Yeah, I would probably do Wraith King Undying against Spectre, and then Willow Veno.
Okay.
And then maybe Willow just has to go 1-1-1 for the first 3 levels before she starts committing to anything else. Because the only downside of that issue, or the only downside of that lane that I really see is that until Willow has a point in Cursed Crown, you really just don't have a stun. So if you get Galed, you can kind of just TP out, and if they don't have the right clicks, you don't do anything against it.
So like we're undecided on lanes, as you can see. Like everybody's like top right now for some god-forsaken reason. I have no
I mean,
idea.
if you guys get first blood, it's all totally
no,
worth it.
no, I just walked over. It was bad. So we
So you
said,
guys probably didn't get the
No.
2 bot runes.
we only
either.
got one. I was complaining. I haven't muted, but I was like, wow, guys, we did really good there.
Yeah, that's where you guys really need to go scout lanes and see what's going on. Because then, since you have all the heroes on the top part of the map there, if you see that it's what was it, Shaker and Spectre?
Yeah.
If you see that, then you can say, okay, we just put Undying and Wraith King up here, and then the other two run to the other side of the map, and like maybe they'll miss a wave, but then you should theoretically have the favorable matchups, and if you have the favorable matchups and it's on the other team to do something about it, so they're either going to have to rotate supports or just completely lane swap. And if they're lane swapping, then they're TPing, and if they TP, then you TP, and then you still have the better lanes. So you're happy just sitting there and farming.
So what happened this game was Clinks was middle. I don't know what Clinks was doing. Maybe swapping lanes at the end. Maybe they thought I was gonna be in a different lane. I don't know. Because Clinks is dark green. I'm a little confused what he did
Mhm.
the first wave. Why he was over there. We played Dark Willow and Wraith King against Spectre, and it was Spectre and Lich together. And
Oh,
then,
Lich was up there?
yeah.
Okay.
And then it was Mirana Earthshaker against our Veno and Undyne. And what we kind of did was to have range on each lane. I don't know. We
Yeah,
talked
I
about
mean-
that. We're like, maybe we should have a range hero in each lane. So that's kind of what we did. Like, so, like double melee.
Yeah, I
does
mean,
suck.
I don't think that's something you guys really needed to be concerned about. I think you guys definitely had the better lanes. Because like I've been saying, you can't really leave Lich and Spectre in a lane by themselves and expect things to go well. Like you're gonna lose that lane at the beginning of it.
And their other
because
supports is
You
Earthshaker.
just don't. Yeah, like you just don't do anything with a Lich and a Spectre, because Lich is like 99% of the time going to take sacrifice level 1. So maybe Lich will get a fast level 2 just because he'll likely get solo experience from sacrificing the creep. And you do always have that you can pull the lane back just from sacrificing, but if you guys have the heroes that can play aggressively, especially like a Wraith King and a Dark Willow, then like you would start charging W on Willow, stun, throw out brambles, and like
Yeah.
that. If that doesn't kill them, they're probably only getting away with like 150, maybe 200 HP, something like that. Maybe not even that. So, yeah, I think you guys definitely came out ahead on the draft.
That's what I thought too. Like I just thought their lanes were super weak. And like
Yeah,
the only lane
I
that's
think they were probably considering putting Clinks against Wraith King just because they knew that Spectre wouldn't be able to lane there, and at least Clinks can strafe to dodge the
stun. Yeah.
you can dodge Wraith King stun. But then they're kind of still in the really bad situation of what do they do with the other 2 lanes, and like Mirana can do decently bottom against, what would that be, Undying and Veno, because there's just no stuns in that lane, so you just leap away from any sort of trouble, and as long as your health isn't too low that like you're gonna tick out from Gale or Poison Sting or whatever, then you're never really in trouble in that lane. But then that leaves Spectre mid against an Alchemist.
Yeah, I
And-
thought maybe that's what they were gonna do because I think they were talking about that because look where the Clinks is. There's no reason for him to be there when the wave's here. Like I actually think
Yeah.
they might have been considering that. I I don't know, Spectre against Alchemist, probably still losing, but maybe Spectre doesn't lose as hard because I'm gonna push the wave and do other stuff. So,
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Clinks has the advantage of all the physical damage that he can put out
Against
early on.
Alchemist?
Yeah, like you don't even need to skill skeleton walk because there's nothing for you to be able to disjoint with the invis. Like if you had skilled unstable concoction and threw that at him and then he turns invis, like still gonna hit him. So as long as you're not doing it out in the open, like actively running under his tower and then start charging it.
So I thought this mid player was like really bad, minus the first wave because that's a little unfair to him. But I just felt like he let me do whatever I wanted. Like I wasn't even like playing mid hardcore. Oh, I know, but like he just stopped harassing me. Like he just didn't even like harass me. It was like I felt like really easy lane. Like I don't really, I just like you can probably watch and like I'm not a good laner, but like this guy was ridiculous. I don't want to like flame him, but like we won all three lanes.
Well, that's kind of the problem playing a hero like Clinks against Alchemist, because like I said, you do have the Clinks just outputs a butt ton of physical damage, and there's really nothing you can do to stop that. Excuse me. But you need some levels before you really start doing that damage. Otherwise, if you're committing a searing arrow to every single last hit, by the time you do get to level 4 or 5 or whatever, then you're probably out of mana at that point.
Yeah, Lich already died once, and then like I'm just getting away with everything. Like I think it's a little on the Clinks, but like Clinks I was shocked was against me just because the right click animation's really bad. So like
well, it's not that his animation is bad. Like when he's actually trying to last hit creeps with searing arrows, that's what, like an extra 30 damage level 1.
Yeah,
maybe
but
only
like
20.
denies.
But yeah, well that's what I mean. Like the hero only hits for like 44 45 damage level 1, something like that. And you just can't deny with that against a hero that has 58 base damage to begin with, and then also is a melee hero who bought a Quelling Blade. So he's essentially competing against like almost 85 damage at that point. Like,
yeah, that's
the only way he gets a deny is if you let him. And if you're decent whatsoever, you're never gonna let him do that.
I totally let him get some denies, man, on range creeps this game. I just
well,
was
yeah,
lazy.
I mean, like I'm sure there's occasionally going to be the option of like, okay, I can either deny my creep or get this last hit. What's more important? Probably denying the creep, and then he denies one because of that. Like that's going to happen every so often, but
I won this lane. I like
Yeah.
destroyed him. I never killed him, and I just
yeah,
like,
I mean the only thing that he can really do is just constantly throw searing arrows at you, which he didn't do, and maybe he gets you to a point of where if you walk up to the wave, you might feel threatened where he could just strafe and kill you. But he seemed far too happy to just play the passive farming game against an alchemist and think that that's going to go well.
yeah, that's what I felt as well. And I don't know. I'm super greedy, man. I just go straight Radiance.
I was going to say, it's 5 minutes into the game, and with the way he's playing, you've already
Yeah.
got 2k saved for a relic. Like,
Yeah, I just like I have gone the Akela treads before when games where it's like, okay, I can't be greedy, but I'm like 38-6 right now. Like I'm pretty happy with myself.
yeah, I mean, now that he's level 6, the screen lagged out a little bit. I don't know if he ate a catapult or what, but like he can actually,
Yeah,
he's actually got some damage and can contest
he
you.
almost killed me. He almost killed me there. I was like, oh shit, but I just popped my ult and it's like lol. But yeah, no, once level 6. And I don't know if I should be leaving the lane to get these super fast, as fast as I am. I don't know as an alchemist yet.
Do you mean going to grab the bounties?
Yeah, no, not the bounty. Well, both bounties and like just regular. Oh, dude, I was so fucking scared. I was like shitting my pants.
Yeah, TP.
By Undying? Are you telling me?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to go grab the bounties as a mid. unless like you really need the bottle charges. But since you went to go grab a rune and you found a regen, like
Yeah, it's a dub.
you don't care about the bounties so far as your team actually goes to get them.
Yeah, and I just kind of one lane. Like, I have like 600. It's 8 minutes in.
Yeah, like we said, Klink's just tried to play the passive farming game against an alchemist, and if you let alchemist play his game, he's just gonna outscale you.
Yeah, I have enough for Sacred Relic at before 10 minutes. And I got my Radiance at 11. I'm like, talking to my team, I'm like, man, this Klink's so bad. I'm like, what is he doing? This is the lane I'm
Yeah.
supposed to lose? I don't know. Like, I'm not going through the game, but I thought I'd just show you, like, how much we stomped him. Like, I almost died here, too. Like, they rotated 3 people. Dude, I almost died. I was so stupid. You know, I got it done.
Yeah, I think without having actually seen how the other lanes go, I think the biggest mistake that you guys really made was not putting Undying against Spectre.
We just won
'Cause,
every
like,
lane, so I like maybe.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that that's even really that big of a mistake with how things went, but I guess I should say it's more of an optimization mistake that you guys could have done better if you had put Undying against Spectre. But even at that, putting Wraith King Willow against that lane is not bad. Because, like I said, if you walk up as any melee carry, like, you're going to take a stun to the face, and then you're probably going to have a bramble or 2 dropped on you, depending on the placement.
And do you
And
see
then...
I'm 0-0-0. I don't know.
pretty,
I did try
pretty
to
stock
make one
farming
play.
fashion.
I did try to make one play somewhere, man, and I didn't get the kill. Like, I showed up and they TP'd away.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely situations where you can make a play as an alchemist, but like your job is kind of just farm real fast, get 5 or 6 slotted, and then you can show up at 25 minutes with a Radiance, Octarine, Blink Manta, all that
here we go.
bullshit,
I
and just kind
actually
of show
screwed
up and kill people.
I screwed up. I stunned myself,
Ugh.
and then they got away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if your support's at detection, but I mean, that's where you would say, hey, I'm coming bottom, be ready for it, and if there's a Clinks there, then, you know, that kill probably just doesn't happen unless you have detection.
Yeah, we didn't have detection. I think I said something about detection, and that's why you saw Wraith King buy dust right away.
Yeah, that's
So-
where you screw it up the one time, and then, okay, we're going to make sure we have detection the next time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unfortunate you didn't get the kill, but, like...
I'm I have Radiance Manta.
I was gonna say it's 17 minutes or 18 minutes, and you're just kind of running past a tier 2 and farming,
Yeah.
and they can't do anything to stop it.
I tried it and I
Like,
got
that's
tired.
kind of your dream as an alchemist.
Yeah, like we did really well. Oh wait, I'm like, oh bro, it's going the wrong way. They're pinging at me, calling me dumb. I don't think. I know, like we just ran over them. Like this game is over in 6 minutes, by the way. But I'm just trying to like find. Like, just
Yeah,
like,
that's
show
why that's why I was saying earlier. Like, their lanes are just kind of awkward. Where if you put Lich top with Spectre, then you just kind of lose that lane because neither of those heroes do anything for the first couple levels. And if you put Lich off lane so that he can maybe have some sort of an impact, then you've got a Shaker and a Spectre, and like, well, even then, what
you cut out.
is maybe you like if you put Shaker top with Spectre, then like what does that lane even do? You can maybe Fisher block some people, but against an Undying Wraith King, like, the Fisher blocking only matters if your carry can actually move in the first place.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So they just had awkward lanes, and I don't know if they had some sort of plan going into this, but I think with the picks that you guys made, even as awkward as a Undying Veno lane might be, you kind of just played the game that they wanted to, just better, and they didn't have an answer for it.
Yeah, I just got to farm out of my mind. Carl, like, they found a kill on Klink's middle. Like, so I TP top, so this is like, I know it's 22 minutes in the game. I saw Spectre was farming a lane, so I TP top, just because I know Spectre can't do anything to me, and I know I can kill Spectre if he doesn't leave. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
asserting my authority type deal.
I don't know if you watched the stream that what was it? He played a game against Gunner when Gunner was playing
Ember, and he played
and
PL.
yeah, and then he afterwards he did the whole thing about like if the other heroes just can't do anything about you, then you just show up in their lane and they either fuck off or they just die.
Yeah, that's what
And
I was doing. I was like,
yeah, I mean that's you need to have some hero against the Spectre that can do that. And like we said, Alchemist is very much a hero that can just kind of outscale him, and then you show up like 15 minutes into the game with Radiant's boots of travel, and like you chase him down, and if he doesn't do anything about it, then you just kill him.
yeah. So is it okay that I didn't go Blink? Like, I just feel like Blink is an item like I have to hunt down and kill people, but like at my MMR, I
Yeah.
think games are slower, where Blink kind of
Yeah, I mean it's definitely an item that prevents you from scaling as hard as you possibly can. I think if you were that far ahead, or if you needed someone to initiate, which honestly you really didn't, like being able to charge up a stun and then just blinking on top of someone and hitting them for like 800 damage in a 4.5 second stun is just kind of like, why would you not do that? But given that you guys are taking racks and pretty much diving the fountain 24 minutes into the game, then I wouldn't say that not going blink is wrong. Like maybe it gets you an extra kill or two that you might not have gotten otherwise, but if that blink is a plate mail on you and that gives you the armor to actually be able to dive, then
should I be charging my stun up more? Is that like something I should try to get into? Because I don't think I charge my.
Yeah, you should probably try to start doing that. The issue with that is if you don't go blink, then sometimes you just want it for a quick stun to cancel TPs or interrupt whatever happens to be going on, like literally right that second. Words are very hard.
Yeah, no, that's fun.
But once you get, I forget if it's the level 15 or the level 20 talent,
It's
but
level
whichever
20.
one is the plus 400 unstable concoction damage. Like at that point, then you can kind of just start throwing it out on anyone just for the damage, because you're hitting them for like 500 or 600 damage. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I just hit 20 now. Like I was doing all that without the talent.
Yeah, so like if
Yeah.
you charged it more, then the stuns would last longer, and
do more
like their
damage,
heroes
yeah.
can't run away quite as well. But the only hero that you really need to worry about that is, I guess if Spectre can dagger over the trees, the Clinks can potentially go invis, but if you guys have the tech, that's not even an issue, and Mirana can leap away, so maybe you force out some of the leap charges, but the concoction still follows her. So it's not like it's just never going to hit her.
I was saying if I had a host,
So.
for some reason I had 7 viewers, I was really confused. I was like, they probably
Yeah,
thought it was good, Kappa.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that you guys played that game particularly badly or anything like that. I mean, just with the short run through of the game, it's hard for me to say if you guys actually played that well or if it was just the other team playing that badly, but it definitely seemed like they just kind of, I think they had a plan, and then halfway through it just kind of got real fucky, and they didn't know how to fix it, so they just kind of committed to it, and it didn't really work.
Yeah, I just feel, I don't know, I feel like we won like all our lanes 25-14, and like I was.
Yeah, I think it started when they picked Spectre. Because like I've been saying, it's awkward putting him with either Shaker or Lich. So unless you're going to try lane and then pick some hero that can lane 1v2 against someone, then I don't see how you really have any intention of winning your lanes.
Yeah, that's I was 0-0-0 still at 18 minutes and 38 seconds. But they also were like running away. Like wherever I went, they avoided too. They knew I was like.
Yeah, I
staring
mean
at them,
that's
so like
part of just how you play the game. Like,
yeah.
not every hero needs to run around and end the game with 20 kills, and not every hero needs to spend 45 minutes farming before they can show up to a fight. Like if you pressure the map and take towers and you just happen to never be involved in a kill, then that's just you doing your job.
They avoided me, and as an alchemist, I feel like my job is to shove lanes. So like,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
showing on the
maybe you could have taken advantage of that more,
Mhm.
since they were just not trying to deal with you whatsoever. Maybe you could force the issue a little bit harder here and there, but I mean that's still just like with the way this game turned out, like that's just really not an issue.
Oh no, this guy went Orchid. What a pleb. You don't go Orchid Clinks. I don't know. Honestly, I think it's more like big into like.
Orchid's not bad.
No, but BSJ said it's terrible, so it's gotta be terrible.
Well,
I don't know. This
BS
Earthshaker didn't even get a
BSJ
blink.
is also still learning that hero, so
Yeah.
no offense to him, but I'm gonna say he's maybe not
The best Clinks.
not well, not that he's not the best Clinks, but there are definitely situations where Orchid first on Clinks is a good item.
They just had no items, dude. Like, look at the scoreboard. Like, bragging, but player net worth, like. Now I realize it looks bad because I'm an alchemist, but when I'm like 3 times more than their top net worth, there's an issue.
Yeah, I mean they just didn't pick a hero that can really deal with you. I mean, I'd be interested to see how that game plays out if
Murano was
Clinks
good.
had made more of an effort to actually like contest you and not just farm in that lane. Because then maybe you don't get the radiance as fast as you do. He has a better lane and can maybe go gank and like actually get something done on the map. But
Yeah. I was shocked. I thought he was going to contest me around level 3, level 4 when he had 2 points of searing arrows at one point in his Q.
yeah, because you've got what, like 1 or 2 armor at that point.
Yeah, I don't have much, so
You're
I
essentially taking pure damage.
like
And if you're getting hit for like 90 or so damage, then
yeah,
he definitely should have contested you more than he did.
yeah, like we just started taking over, and my team just let me farm. They let me farm. Nobody like really came. Like they did one gank. I don't know, but that's
Well, because
enough for that game.
by the time they tried to gank you the one time, it was kind of already too late. And if
Don't look at the draft. Hide your eyes.
I mean, the important thing here is the order that people get picked in.
So we actually screwed up this game at 25 minutes. We were actually destroying them, and we screwed up, and we took like 2 bad fights. So that game, why the game went so long, but
Radiant
it went a
team
lot
ban.
better after. Oh, dude, we didn't have a team name this time. Feels bad, man. I must have forgotten.
Dire team ban.
Yeah, we took last pick this time, and they took Radiant. So the first game, they took a first pick, and we took Radiant.
Radiant team
I just
ban.
won last pick. So this is what I'm talking about. They banned Bloodseeker right away. I'm pretty sure they banned Alchemist here. Or they banned Alchemist in the second phase, but they banned like
Dire team ban.
yeah, they banned Alchemist, and then in the second phase they banned Brood. Like they've tried to ban me out, I guess.
Well, I mean, you really carried the game, so
Mhm.
not to say that they couldn't have picked something that would be better against Alchemist and let you play it again, but I can very much see where at this MMR, if you play against a
10
team and
seconds
there's one
remaining.
person who very clearly dominates the game, you probably don't want to let them play
5
their heroes
seconds
again.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah, and that's so. I was like, guys, they ban. I said to them, in between, I'm like, guys, they're probably gonna ban my Alchemist, probably like in the second phase, so we can't do that again. But then they ban in the first phase. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
I mean, they definitely could have waited until second phase,
Mhm.
because that's not really a hero you're going to first pick.
No.
Like, as much shit as everyone gives
10
Spectre
seconds
and
remaining.
how it got first phased at the International a couple times,
5 seconds
like
remaining.
it is important to remember in those games that yes, Spectre is a hero that can come back into a game very well from a bad laning stage,
Yeah.
but those games that OG first picked it, or first phased it rather,
Dire
Spectre just
team
had a
back.
pretty terrible time
Yeah,
for,
every
like,
game.
for like 95% of the game, and then OG happened to have
Radiant
won
team
like
pick.
one fight and turned the net worth graph around, and then they just ended the game like 5 minutes later.
Man, that game bothered me so much
Dire
against
team
EG where he
pick.
buys back and they win. I was so pissed off, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't leave you to
It hurts.
much margin for error when you're trying to end the game like that, but like people have to keep in mind that when you're playing a hero like that, like you can't buy back 25 minutes into the game with treads in an Aquila and press
10
R and say,
seconds
"Don't worry,
remaining.
guys, we'll get them. They're all gonna die this time."
No, I
Dire
know.
team
Like,
pick.
They
you
needed to
still
hit
need
buildings.
something on that
Mirana.
hero.
Yeah, they need to hit buildings, like, or something. So I don't know. I just picked like they picked Vengeful Spirit. We banned it last game, so I don't know if they're picking it because they want to, or just it's because it's good, or they saw we banned it first game and we let it through.
Yeah, I mean, Venge is just kind of a good support. Like the stun scales pretty well. Minus armor is
10
always very
seconds
good.
remaining.
The passive that makes all
5
of your
seconds
heroes do more
remaining.
damage is never a bad thing. I think it's really the swap where you can either initiate onto someone with it, and all of a sudden they're just kind of surrounded by 4 heroes and don't know what's going on, or if your carry is doing some real dumb bullshit and ends
Radiant
up
team pick.
getting gone on and is about to die, you can be like, "Hey, listen here, you little shit. Don't do that. I'm gonna save you this time, but stop doing dumb shit."
So my one regret this draft is picking Earthshaker.
Oh, terrible idea. Did
Just
you pick
to
it
let
as
you
a
know.
support?
Yeah, I picked it as a 4.
Terrible idea.
Dude, I know. I was so upset,
10
like how the
seconds
draft
remaining.
unfolds and everything, and what we decide to do. Like my one
5
regret is
seconds
picking
remaining.
Earthshaker. That was actually such a bad idea. I
I
probably
mean,
never-
Earthshaker isn't a bad hero, but
He's good, but it didn't like work with our draft. Like we're just kind of talking and picking heroes. Like we didn't have I didn't have any set strategies. Okay, if they pick this hero, we'll pick this hero because I like it. I just went into the game and I'm like, guys, we might lose our games against them, but it's our first time playing together, so let's just go in there and have a good time.
yeah. I mean, the hero as a 4 position is pretty unforgiving, where if you can't get something done early on, then you're just kind of
Radiant
like,
team ban.
okay, it's 15
Enchantress.
minutes into the game and I'm an Earthshaker with maybe Arcane Boots level 6 and like 200 gold towards my blink.
I know, it's so bad. And we kind of had that. But look at this. They picked Venge and Enchantress. We banned them both game. I don't know if they just picked because we
Dire
banned them
team
or
ban.
what. Or just because they're good. They are good.
Yeah. I don't know. Enchantress is a hero that I feel weird about because, like, you hate laning against it
Yeah.
because Untouchable is just such a good skill that, like, if you don't have any hero that has a consistent amount of magical burst damage,
Radiant
or
team
if you don't
ban.
have, like, an Ursa that can actually get on top of her and just burst her because he doesn't give a shit about Untouchable, then it's just kind of like, how do you actually approach killing that hero? But then if you do kill them like 2 or 3 times in a row, then after that you're just kind of like, oh, okay, it's an Enchantress. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, we were actually talking about picking PL
10
against
seconds
Enchantress, so they
remaining.
banned PL. And we banned Drow because we saw their first 2 picks, and
5
we're like, we're not
seconds
going to get
remaining.
Drow'd. I think they were smart. But...
Dire team ban.
And then there's my Brood. They literally, okay, so I play a lot of so PL, Brood, Alchemist, and Bloodseeker all have above 70% win rate with them. I'm just saying.
You're the worst kind of human being.
I'm just saying. All 4 heroes are 70% and above, and all 4 of them were banned in the first 5 picks, man.
10 seconds remaining.
I feel banned out. So I'm talking to my team
5
right now, and I'm
seconds
talking about
remaining.
like what we can pick and what we can ban. No idea what we ban, but I pick Ursa. I'm pretty sure because I'm like Ursa against Enchantress, easy. I'm a pretty shitty Ursa player. I don't play Ursa like ever, but I was going into this game. I'm like, I'm gonna try something different. So I just kind of picked Ursa. Like we don't have my we don't have the cams on where I'm talking to my team and be like, I'm picking Ursa, guys. By the way. I just picked it. I have no idea what I banned. Monkey King? Troll Warlord? Did I ban Troll Warlord? Like, I actually don't know what I banned.
Dire team
I ban
pick.
troll. I have you know what? My reasoning for troll is because he's good against Ursa.
Radiant team pick.
I don't know if that's a good enough reasoning. Or if that's me throwing away my ban, because troll's like not the greatest hero, but I banned him. Is that good or bad?
To ban troll again when you want to pick Ursa.
Yeah. Like in general,
I
like
mean-
this game. Like I know troll's like a weaker hero. I know he's good against Ursa, but like
10
besides that,
seconds
like is that
remaining.
okay, or am I like wasting a ban?
5
I mean, I don't think
seconds
it's bad.
remaining.
If your whole thinking behind it was that you wanted to ban a hero that's good against Ursa, I'm not entirely sure what else you would ban.
Hmm.
Because there's like the issue there is you need to ban a hero that can kite well, and there's like 6 million heroes that kite other heroes, so
Yeah.
like it's kind of hard to get to the bottom of that problem.
Hmm. Yeah, I just know troll can kill Ursa, like just instant bash and dead. I didn't want that in my game.
Yeah, but the flip
Dire
side of it
team
is
pick.
that
Crystal
if
Maiden.
troll can actually get on top of Ursa and you just permabash him, then
It's one way or the other. I want to mention we
Yeah.
wanted CM. We were talking
wanted
and we wanted
CM?
CM, yeah, our fourth pick. Would have that been okay, or would that have been like 2 week of support, CM and Earthshaker?
10 seconds remaining.
Because we were thinking CM against like Enchantress. And
5
CM with
seconds
Ursa
remaining.
seems like strong with the slow and a stun.
Radiant team pick.
Shadow Shaman.
excuse me. Yeah, I think that lane would have been fine. Ursa definitely appreciates the aura early on, so he's never gonna he's never gonna complain about that.
10 seconds remaining.
I think they
5
picked
seconds
Spectre here,
remaining.
dude.
Dire team ban.
Which
I
is
mean, looking
bad
at
against
you-
Ursa. What?
Looking at the other heroes, if you had been able to fourth pick CM here, then I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm looking too far into it, but against like an Enchantress, I don't like any support you pick is probably going to look pretty terrible
10
because
seconds
supports
remaining.
are not going to deal with Enchantress very well, if at all,
Mm.
and they're probably going to
5
die to
seconds
Enchantress
remaining.
a lot.
Well, my idea was like CM and Ursa, like CM like stuns him and Ursa just runs up.
Yeah, like the lane would have been fine.
And like helps
Um,
Earthshaker and Murano. I don't know. I don't know. We were talking CM.
Yeah, I think CM would have been fine. I think maybe if you do go CM, then as opposed to just buying arcane boots, maybe Earthshaker can just get a raindrop and have both the raindrop and the aura be his source of mana
Radiant
regen,
team
and then
ban.
just rush a blink. Otherwise, everyone has really spammable spells, and the extra mana is always good. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about their Spectre pick though.
So
I feel like
yeah.
I feel like they might just be picking it because
10
they
seconds
think it's
remaining.
broken, but they don't quite understand why or how.
5 seconds
I think
remaining.
So they're trying it and hoping it works.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they almost came back from the game because Spectre bought back, or something, or they bought back a bunch, and I don't know. They played an interesting game. They picked Necrophos here, and we picked Pugna. So we kind of went early game, and at 25 minutes, like we took a really bad fight, and that's I think our game it took us long this
team
time
pick.
because like our team played poorly. Like we played super well the first like I'd say 23, 24 minutes of this game. We just dominated them, but the biggest issue was because we haven't really played as a team. That we were off like Q and we took a really bad team fight, but we ended
Yeah.
up winning the game. But it was like a really bad team fight by us that like
10 seconds remaining.
made us lose, and a lot of it was just because they picked heroes that can kind of like
5 seconds
that
remaining.
when you fight into them, you can get punished.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, It looks like they actually have a pretty cohesive draft up until here. You saying that they last picked Necro is kind of it's a little bit suspect because like they have two good supports with some disables. Enchantress is a pretty lane winning hero, and Spectre can always go late game. Because looking at the heroes that you have, like you don't
Dire
have
team pick.
a natural silver edge carrier, although Ursa can pretty reliably blow up Spectre pretty much the entire game. But they should really be looking for something that can do well mid, knowing that they're probably going to get counterpicked and not have the best lane, but
10
like
seconds
they need
remaining.
something that can kind of direct a fight 4v5
5
potentially.
seconds
And
remaining.
like if that hero shows up, then the other team is kind of like, oh, I don't know if we really want to fight this. And Necro is fine for that if he gets far enough ahead, but like looking at the other heroes on the team, like where is their burst damage coming from?
Yeah.
Like they're never going to be able to jump on top of someone and just do damage, and like in the duration or the 1.5 second duration of the stun from Reaper's Scythe, like you guys just don't have a hero that's going to die during that. So it's kind of like,
Choose
where
your
is their
hero.
damage really coming from? Because like they're going to appreciate longer drawn out fights, but if you're trying to draw fights out against an Ursa and a Shadow Shaman,
Prepare
like
for
eventually
battle.
people are going to get disabled and Ursa's going to kill them. So, I mean, I guess maybe they were thinking that they needed something that wouldn't just die to Ursa,
30 seconds.
and
left.
Necro at least has
My
that
claws are
potential,
ready to go
at
on
least
first
until you
blood.
get an Abyssal Blade,
The battle
where he can always just like
begins.
go Shroud and TP out, but
So
I think that's thinking far the individual lanes and not how the game itself is going to go.
So I don't know who Ursa should lane against between Enchantress and Spectre, but we saw Spectre dodge me, so I determined I'm gonna go top as Ursa. So I TP top into Enchantress, so I run actually back bottom and lane against Spectre. I don't know if that was the right
Yeah,
call or not.
you should definitely lane against Spectre.
I know I'm better against Spectres, and I know I can screw over his game,
Double
but they
down.
kill him right away. So I don't know if Spectre goes top or it's like
Yeah,
really
this
weird.
is just the dude that I talked about earlier, where like if you have the favorable lane matchups, then it's kind of the onus is on your team or the other team to do something about it. So if you have a hero like Ursa that's going to lane really well against Spectre, then anytime he walks up, you just clap and right-click him a bunch, and he doesn't do anything about it. Compared to if you try doing that against an Enchantress, A, you have to get up to her in the first place, and B, if you do try to go on her, then she can just enchant you to dispel overpower, so you're never really at that much of a threat unless you're running up to her and not having used it in the first place.
Dire's top tower is
So,
under attack.
I mean, I think you definitely had the right idea there. I think it was just a little bit awkward that
Yeah,
you guys were
when
the first ones to TP, and then Enchantress TPs, and then you run all the way across the map again.
but it like worked out. So like definitely was awkward. So I go Vlad's first because I'm thinking we're just gonna go early game, and I understand like Aquila's really good, and you can go like Aquila, or you can just or like Aquila Blink. But
Yeah.
I just felt the Vlad's this game. I don't know if that's the right call or not. But I'm not here for item decisions. I want to like, so we're like dominating the game. Like, I feel like we're like going ahead of them. Like, it's 22-19. Like, mistakes were made on our side. But like, I think their Necrophos went first item Blade Mail. Like, he went Blade Mail. Like, they were like going super defensive. But we're pulling ahead. 4K up.
Double damage.
Oh, this roach fight was so bad. Did we give it to him? Oh, I think we did. Okay, we did. No, we won.
Dire's bottom tower is
It was just messy. Like, I told the team, don't go in there, and someone went in there. Like, it wasn't this fight, I guess.
Come on, don't run off.
We ended up getting Roshan,
Dire's top
but it
tower
was
They
like
also
really
had
bad.
the ward there and saw the DD disappear. So
Oh.
it seemed like they had an idea what was going on regardless of people actually walked in. is that's just something you always need to be thinking about when you're playing against her. So
Radiant
like,
are
hey,
strong.
this is a hero that if you let them can do Roche at 10 minutes into the game. Let's just keep that in mind.
I actually was like
Radiant's
behind in
middle
levels,
tower has
so
fallen.
like my team just made a few mistakes and I missed out on some kills. But like I'm telling the team, okay, like we have to like our timing's coming.
It's neither fair nor foul.
But like we take one fight, it's like super bad.
Enchantress, this rift has been drawn between
I know we get this pretty
Radiant
fast, I
structures
think.
are fortified.
Like we get
Radiant's
extracts,
middle tower
but like
is under
when we're
attack.
trying to get our
Radiant's
extracts,
middle
it's really
barracks
bad.
are under attack. Radiant's middle barracks are under attack. Fallen. Radiant's top shrine is under attack.
And watching Ursa right click when you press
Radiant's
W
top
is really fun
shrine is
after
under
times.
attack. Has fallen.
Like we just had a really hard time breaking high ground again when all 5 of them were alive. I don't.
Radiant's bottom shrine
Life was
is under
super rough.
attack.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of just how things go when
Radiant's
you're playing
bottom
against
shrine
like
is under
an
attack.
Enchantress, Necro, and Bench.
Radiant's bottom
We were hoping
shrine
they were gonna
has
come.
fallen.
To the high ground, by the way.
Yeah, like I said, those were their heroes are much more geared towards let's take a longer run.
This is the bad fight. This is the bad fight we took. Like, I know it was too fast for you to see, but so I said, guys, we're gonna be going in right away. As soon as Earthshaker goes in, we gotta like follow up with them, and like only Earthshaker and I went in, and then it was him and I versus like it was a 2v5, and then our other 3 teammates 5 seconds later joined. I know that was really fast, but it was like misplayed. That fight made the game go all the way till the end. Like we don't need to watch the rest. It was more like we were continuing to control the map kind of, and they were too. And it was like I kept killing. I was able to kill Spectre. Like I ended up going like 14-5, or if I went 14-9 because I kept dying by kill Spectre. It was like I was like killing myself on blade mails. I feel like
well, that's what I mean about the other team wants really long, drawn-out fights where, like, sure, you might have blown someone up at the beginning of the fight, and they took that fight 4v5, but it's still kind of like, if you don't immediately dominate the fight with your heroes, then, like I said, eventually you're gonna shackle someone, and like you are going to be the person that walks up to them and kills them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to just walk up high ground and take a lane of racks while 5 of them are still alive, you're probably going to get swapped back. Enchantress is just going to continue to throw shit at you.
so bad.
Necro can stand up there and spam Death Pulse and do some damage with his aura. Meanwhile, Spectre can always be somewhere else farming. Like it's a difficult. They had difficult heroes to commit onto.
Yeah.
But if you could get that commitment, then there's obviously, like with the heroes that you have, you can just kill 3 or 4 people like just instantly and not have to worry about it. But I would say that that's just you guys rushing a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think we rushed it, but I don't
Yeah, like the way that you play against Spectre is not necessarily killing them over and over again. Because as everyone talks about all the time, like the hero can make comebacks in games where they probably shouldn't, and it's because people just try to chase them down and kill them, and et cetera, and then all of a sudden they buy back, hunt, win one fight, and they've got an extra like 3,000 gold. Compared to if you just follow them around the map and just generally make them feel unsafe, then they're going to play super safe, and like maybe instead of going to farm a camp that they might be able to, might not be able to, they'll just like sit on the high ground and not farm. And then they'll still get passive gold, but they are getting passive gold while you are getting passive gold and farming camps.
Yeah.
So you're taking the advantage that you already have and making it bigger. So then when it finally does come time where you guys are like, all right, fuck it, let's just go fight them, instead of only being maybe like instead of that fight being like 10k ahead, you guys might be like 20k ahead. And if that's the difference between you having just the Blink Basher and BKB, maybe you've got the full Abyssal and you've got an Ags, so that you can better lock down the person that you're going on in the first place and be able to kill more people because you're enraging more often.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you guys definitely rushed that. You were really not in any position to be rushing or be forcing anything. they were the ones that needed to be going out and doing something, and you guys just kind of handed them a fight on a silver platter. But otherwise, I think like I was saying with the Necro pick, like their lineup looks really good up until that. But it seemed like they were just focusing too much on, okay, we need a hero that's going to win this lane, and not so much a hero that's going to help win the game. Because if the 4 of them are walking up to a tower, then like the only person who's really going to be doing any tower damage is Enchantress, and she's probably going to get most of that from the siege creep that she should have enchanted. But I mean, like if you blink on like Venge and then Earthshaker Echo Slams like 2 other people, then like chances are though at least 2 of those 3 people are dying, if not more. And then that just leaves Marana and Pugna to just kind of do whatever they want to. Like Marana can just throw arrows at people so that they die, and Pugna's gonna give them the Zuck. So like, I don't think fights were ever particularly hard for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I realized I took shared screen from you just because I had to go on like a Discord that I couldn't.
No, it's fine. I've been looking at
other stuff now.
Twitch screen anyway.
Oh, really? That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just felt like it.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it was really just the one fight. You guys really should have just been more patient and waited for them to do something.
Yeah, I think
because I mean, you had Aegis at the time, so like you were kind of on a little bit of a timer of, okay, like if why are we going to wait until after the Aegis expires to go take a fight? Like, let's do it now while we still have it. But I think just running onto their high ground, like it wouldn't have been bad if, like you said, the rest of the team followed you guys up, but it did look like you guys kind of went in, and the other 3 just kind of stood back and were like, oh, okay. This is nice.
That's the thing. Like, it was like, oh, we went right away, and the other 3, because I said Earthshaker's like, even if Shadow Shaman went in and shackled someone, completely different game. But it doesn't matter. That's our fault. So at that point, I think what we should have done, reflection, is if Carl just started blasting, and we waited for them to like swap him, and we go in.
Yeah, I mean that's a good thing about Pugna, because he has the Aether Lens. He doesn't even have tower range to actually get another blast out.
We started doing that.
Yeah, if you just sit him there, and he just blasts the towers, then eventually they are going to have to do something about it. And if their team is the one making the jump, then like I said earlier, they don't have heroes that'll just like all of a sudden jump on. Like, I guess with the items that Spectre ended the game with, he can haunt in on someone and just do a shit ton of damage. But like at the point of the game that we were talking about, like where is their burst coming from?
Yeah, when
the only thing that they really have is if Enchantress is going to walk up and pike someone and then get those 4 attacks off. But if she does that, then Pugna can always just decrep that person, and then they take no damage.
Yeah, I think we should have done that, because like it started working well when Pugna
if that's what you guys did, then that's definitely the right way to go about doing it.
It just got a lot harder because we were behind, man. So I don't know. I think we like ended up winning the game in like some weird fashion. It was an intense game. Like the last 5 minutes were super intense, and like there was like a mini base race going on. We got megas and we were like base race. It was like crazy. And like guys, I'm like, guys, we can go in. No way Spectre has buyback right now. I think it's another minute. We go in, Spectre has buyback, buys back haunt, kills us all.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of similar to the one game that EG played.
Yeah, it was so bad, man.
When they played against, like they were winning and they had here could very clearly just kind of walk up the towers and take them, and instead of doing that, they decided to force fights, and like had they just not done that and take advantage of the very cleared tower seizures that they had, then it would have been a super easy game. And likewise with this, if you guys just sat Pugna in front and just blasted towers down, then that fight probably doesn't happen in the first place, and you just, oh, look at that, we got another melee Rax. Let's back off and farm a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely think the second game. But I know one thing. I am banning if I face that team in AD2L. I'm banning that team Spectre. I'm just banning it. Or I'm taking it. I'm gonna pick it like right away. Like they picked a third pick and then fourth pick. Like this Rod God though, by the way, and I think one of the reasons is because this guy most successful heroes is PL, Spectre, and PA. Like this guy has 77% win rate, so he's probably thinking I just win games as Spectre. He's gold tier on Spectre. So he's like, guys, just give me Spectre and I'll win games.
I mean,
I
that
guess. So
sounds like he's a real pleb playing that hero.
So I don't know. I'm happy we kicked their butt, and they're probably gonna be like, "What do we do? Teams can beat our Spectre now." Like I'm just shocked. Like my plan going in was to make sure we had two different type of drafts, and I think we did that. Like, I played Alchemist one game, passive as AF, and then I played Ursa. We played Ursa, Morana, Pugna, and we just ran at them. So I don't know. Like my goal for when we drafted was to see what we can do and like play different heroes. Their draft, honestly, like they just pick Spectre and Prey.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess that's a difference of opinion of the way I play Spectre compared to a lot of other people, because like pretty much every pro game that Spectre got picked in, like if they didn't go like Tread Zakila Blade Mail,
They went
then
Transequila Manta or
Yeah.
Transequila Radiance.
Yeah, like one of those three items, which none of them are bad on the hero, don't get me wrong, but like they were talking about how if you build the Blade Mail on Spectre, then like that's a really good item against Pugna, because then while he's sucking you dry, he's not actually healing anything because of the Blade Mail, but you're still taking all that damage. But if you don't have any other sort of damage because you're decrept, then it doesn't matter if you Blade Mail and he's not actually healing off of it, as long as he has more health than you when he goes on you in the first place, he's still going to kill you. So if you have some other item like the Praise Spirit Vessel, it's a wonderful item. Like if you have the Spirit Vessel and that happens, then A, he's not healing because he's taking all the Blade Mail damage, and B, he's not healing even more because the amount of healing he gets from sucking you is just that much less. So, like the combined damage of the two means that he just kind of kills himself. And I don't know. I mean, it's still awkward either way because Ursa can still just kind of blink on him and kill him. And like if you Spirit Vessel in Ursa, then he's just gonna be like, okay, here's Enrage. I really don't give a shit. But it seems like a lot of people when they play the hero are just kind of like, okay, we're going to lose for the first like 20-25 minutes, but we have a Spectre, so as long as we get to late game, it'll be okay. But I just feel like there's a better way to play the hero with the urn into Spirit Vessel. And like if you're just going for a Radiance rush, then really you don't even need to necessarily get the full Spirit Vessel early, but like just having it gives you some sort of like, oh, they went on me and we killed them, and I'm at like 200 health. Well, if you have the urn and you get the charges for it, then instead of having to walk all the way back to base and then maybe being able to get to a camp before the other team is alive, like instead of barely getting any farm during that time, then you can just be like, oh, I've got this urn with 2 charges on it, let me just heal myself. And then all of a sudden you're back at full health and you get to farm the lane that entire time. And then that lead just kind of compounds itself, where you get extra levels and farm that the other team probably doesn't think you should be able to have. And then the next time they try to go on you, it's that much more difficult to kill you. And et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we made some mistakes, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, otherwise you have the heroes to deal with the Spectre.
Yeah, I felt we did though. Like that's why I felt really strong. Like we killed Spectre a few times, and I think we just had to play better. Like that mid fight, like not even at Roshan, because we ended up winning. That fight they bought back a lot there. It was more like after the racks, like at 31 minutes, where we were impatient. We should just add Carl in the front. But we got that after.
that's kind of the point that I was trying to make. Like, because I assume he went like blade mail into radiance, something like that. Like I said, if you only have a radiance, then like Pugna can theoretically still kill you as long as he has more health at the start of that than you do. Ursa just does not care about blade mail in any way, shape, or form because he just enrages and takes 80% less damage. And I guess with the Ags build, Mirana was kind of at a disadvantage
Okay,
there.
we
Where
talked to him about that, man. We told, like, I
I
saw
mean,
he built point booster. Like, I just want to cut in here and say that I saw that he built like point booster. Like, I clicked him. Like, I try to click my opponent's items at this level, especially like when I'm playing on a team with them, because like I know for a fact, like people build wrong items. I'm not gonna say I built the right items. Like I went Vlads. I don't know if that's right or I should have went like Aquila, Morbid. You know, because
yeah.
that's more standard. That's like better. I'm not gonna disagree with that, but I saw
I mean,
that point
it's a
booster.
playstyle choice.
I saw that point
Like,
booster and I was so upset. I said to him, I said like, and I was like in the game, I'm like, dude, don't go Aghanim Scepter, and he's like, oh, and then I said something to him and I'm like, that's such a, I'm like, I said it's so bad, but it's too late. You already bought a point booster. We could have swapped it up if he went, you know, like, the agility blade, or if he went like the strength one, or even he could have went any of the plus 10 stat items and it would have been okay. We could have been
yeah,
like,
could
hey,
have
you gotta
built.
go Force Staff or Dragon Lance, or you go Yasha, right? But no,
Yeah, a
and
Manta would have been decent too.
the Manta I think was really good this game, but you know it's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, Ags isn't necessarily a bad item on Mirana. It just kind of it turns a hero that can just kind of show up in any given lane and pressure whoever is there
Hmm.
into a hero that just kind of AFK farms for a little while. And you don't want your hero that reasonably will be threatening kills to be AFK farming.
Yeah,
Like if they're playing off map, then that's not a bad thing, but if they're just running around the map and clearing waves and like constantly showing like, "Hey, here I am. You don't have to worry about me killing you because you can see I'm on the other side of the map." Like that's the wrong way of playing it, but other than that, like the just a blade mill on its own isn't really that good on a Spectre. And if you buy an item like that with the intention that it will keep you in lanes to be farming, and then it doesn't do that, then it's just kind of like, why do I have this item in the first place?
it was bad. It was just bad this game, but it's okay. You know, we moved on. I explained to him if it was good, pros would be building, and I explained it took forever. It took forever for him to get it. It was, I don't know, just bad. It took him like out of the game for a while when,
Yeah, I mean, like the Maelstrom would speed that up if he got that first, but then at that point, like you have the Maelstrom, and you already have an AOE wave clear and Starstorm, so like maybe instead of buying an Ags, just buy like a Clarity every so often, and you probably get the same value out of it. Like maybe
or
you don't clear
more.
waves as fast, but like you'll still clear them.
We got wave clear. I didn't think our team had a problem with wave clear, basically,
Yeah, like every
at
single
all.
one of your heroes has something that can reasonably clear a wave relatively quickly. Like for an Ursa, it still takes a little while because you still need to hit all the creeps
Yeah.
like 9 or 10 times, something like that. But
I don't need to clear
past
waves. I
that,
didn't feel like once I had like
yeah,
a blink,
that's not
I
your
figured
job
my job
unless
wasn't to clear waves.
yeah, unless you're specifically going somewhere to farm it, then
Yeah.
wave clear is not your job, and you should be another one of those heroes that's farming somewhere off map, and then they have to be like, oh god, where's the Ursa? He's got a blink basher. He can kill any of us.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do that game, was play off map. I'm not like a good player. Normally I want to be on map. That's like what
Yeah, I
do,
mean
but, you know,
that's
it's
something
okay.
that like a lot of lower MMR people like that. I think that is something that they definitely struggle with. Where like you do get better farm on the map compared to farming the jungle, just from all the nerfs that the jungle has gotten over the years. Um, but if you're playing a hero like Spectre, then that's fine if you want to show yourself on the map because then you're like, oh well, You know, they're not afraid of me showing on map because like I can just haunt and nobody cares about that. But for the Ursa, yeah, you've got a blink basher, like you have kill threat on people. So if you're showing on the map, then they're going to say, okay, he's over here. I can go farm this area, and you know they can get that next item that might save their life. Compared to if they don't know where you are, then they just have to play scared the whole time, and you know maybe go farm this camp, maybe not. And if they do farm it, maybe they get gone on and die.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's just the mentality that they have to play with at that point. And I think the people that are lower MMR will like they'll look at it at this sort of game and be like, oh well, Pugna has 28,000 net worth and he's got a lot of kills, so he must have carried that game. And don't tell me otherwise. If it had anything to do with anything else, it was just Pugna. He was the only person to do anything. But they probably wouldn't look at, say, an Ursa that was sitting in the jungle instead of pushing the lane out, and they would be like, "Oh, there's this farm over here. What's he doing? He could finish his item if he goes and farms that." Which, like, okay, if you're finishing an item, that's kind of a different story.
Yeah.
But
No, I played a lot off map, like, so I don't know. I made some mistakes. There was some like mistakes my team made that really hurt me, like in the early game as well, like improper usage of spells. Like Earthshaker had a chance to do a triple echo and didn't hit his alt button, and then I died right after because he didn't echo. Like it would have changed the game even more. But you know, that's what happens. You know, stuff
Yeah.
happens wrong. You know, I can always play better. I made a lot of mistakes, but I felt like I played really well early game that game. You know, late game I actually made a couple clutch moves against their Spectre. Like straight up, Ursa fucking kills him, dude. You press W, you go in, you blink him, blink ult, and he just spank him. And then you click W again, and he's already under half health.
yeah, that's why whenever I pick Spectre and there's an Ursa on the other team, like I try not to do it if I know that the Ursa is already there. But if I look at it and like, oh, it's a really good Spectre game otherwise, except for this one hero, so I'll tough it out and hope that my team isn't real bad. But it always depends on how the game goes. But like there's usually some other hero, like say a Mirana or a Pugna or something like that, where if I do have a Blade Mail, it does keep me alive against those heroes. But then it feels real bad against the Ursa, and then
Yeah.
after I get the Blade Mill Spirit Vessel, then I'm like, all right, well, what item am I going to go for next? It's either going to be a Radiance or a Manta, and I'm not sure which one. Because like if you get the Radiance, then sure you can farm faster, but if Ursa ever blinks on top of you, then you're like, oh well,
Yeah, it just doesn't
I guess
matter.
I'm just dead. There's like nothing you can do about it. But if you have the Manta, then as soon as he claps you, you just use Manta to purge off the slow, and then you can dagger away from him, and like you'll live, but then you're farming with a Manta, and that also doesn't feel good.
So yeah, I don't know. I definitely feel pretty good about Ursa. I haven't really played that matchup really. I don't really play Ursa,
Yeah,
but
it's-
I watched our TZ play against Spectre in lane, and I'm like, oh, I can do this. So I just I kind of tried to play like Arteezy did, minus the fact that he ran across. I ran across the map everywhere. He didn't have to. He just went into the Spectre lane, and got the matchup right away. I had to run around, but like, I tried to emulate what Arteezy did, and I think it worked.
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of it's how you position within the lane, where like if it were like Ursa against Luna or something like that, where they just being a ranged hero and also have some kind of like somewhat spammable spell that they can just put damage into you. Like you're not going to be running into the middle of the creep wave and like dragging
No.
creep aggro and all that sort of stuff, and
No, I wouldn't
like
do that.
trying
at
to
all.
play aggressively against that sort of hero. But when it's a melee hero like Spectre that
Yes.
really doesn't do anything with just their abilities, if you're sitting in the creep wave and they need to walk past you to get to a creep, then like you clap and just hit them a bunch, and then all of a sudden they're at like a third of their health and they can't do anything about it.
Specifically, it was a specific Ursa versus Spectre game. It was like someone talked about it on Game Leap or something, like one of the free videos. And he specifically showed, it might not have been Game Leap, but it was somebody, and it was specifically Ursa against Spectre, and it was Arteezy. I forget who the Spectre player was, but showed how like good Arteezy played that lane, and that's what I was trying to do. It was literally it was Ursa versus Spectre, and how good Ursa is against Spectre. So that's why I picked Ursa. I'm like, man, they could pick Spectre again, but I also picked it because of the Enchantress. But like, I'm like, I'd rather like slow down the Spectre, because what happens is it's Spectre versus Morana or Shaker. That doesn't seem as strong, and I'd rather slow the Spectre down, and we did. So I don't know. Spectre just came back because we're really dumb. But I don't want to like that's not the point of this video. The point of the video was about the drafts. I think we won both of them.
Yeah, I would definitely say you did.
Like, I know we won the first one, and like we played like we won the first one. The only thing is, I think Clinks could have killed me like once in lane. I would have played safer if he killed me once, but I felt like I was getting away with so much. I was just pushing it to the edge. Like, I don't know if he ever.
Yeah, I
played
mean,
like
if
that.
he was just sitting there hitting creeps and never actually trying to right-click you, so there's no reason not to try to play like that if he's not going to try to punish it. But like I said, I think the only awkward thing was that
Spectre.
one of your lanes was going to lack like an actual hard disable, where you could just kind of throw it at someone and be like, okay, you're stunned, like cancel your TP.
Oh, like Undying Veno. They can't stop us.
Yeah, like it was either going to have to be Undying and Veno or to be Willow and Veno. And like I said, Willow has Cursed Crown, but that's a stun on a 4-second cooldown or 4-second delay. So if you throw that at someone, then they can just be like, LOLK, I'm just gonna TP out, and what are you gonna do about it?
I don't look at that like the biggest deal. Like, I understand maybe we lose a couple of kills like that, but
yeah, like that's
it's
not
like,
something that it's like the chances of that actually being something that decides the way that the game is gonna go is really so like that's not to say that like that's an actual fault of the draft. Like you did have some stuns, so like once you guys actually grouped up and started doing things, it's not like people were just kind of walking away from you. But it just makes it might make laning a little bit more difficult than it really needs to be. Because,
yeah, if you can't kill them,
like in lane, if someone just TPs out and you're like, oh well, we needed to get that kill to kind of bring this lane back to even, and if you didn't get it, then it's like, okay, well, we just feel real bad about ourselves, but otherwise,
we just pick strong lanes that game the first game, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. And like if they TP out and survive and they have to walk back from base, honestly, sometimes that's worse than not dying.
Yeah, because then there's that whole time that they have to walk back where you're still just sitting there farming, and like that's just the economy game at that point, and like that's a whole separate thing, separate from just getting kills. So like it's really not even that bad at that point.
Yeah, in this current meta, it's like kills aren't like you want. Like, yeah, you want them, but early levels, it's not a big difference. I could definitely see them TPing away from the Veno Undying and it pissing them off a little bit, but
yeah, I mean that's just the sort of thing that like if they have to do that over and over again, then like they're constantly TPing out, and because they're spending so much time not in the lane, then there's all this experience and farm that they're missing. So like eventually you're gonna get to a point, most likely, unless they pull off some really good ganks. You're eventually gonna get to a point where Veno and Willow have more levels than them, and then it doesn't matter if they have a TP or not. You're still putting them in a position where they're either just going to die or they have to leave the lane, and eventually them leaving the lane means that they lose the tower. And once they start losing map control with a Spectre on their team, then it's just kind of like, well, where does our carry farm now? And the rest of us have to give up our game to go make up for that. And no offense to low MMR people, but I'm pretty sure they would not have been willing to give up their game. I mean, like, even some of the games that BSJ has played on Spectre, like,
yeah,
he's talked about where like the hero just demands farm. Like you can't, like I said, you can't buy back with just treads and an Aquila and expect to win the game like that. Like you still need to have something on it. So if there's farm available, it pretty much has to go to that hero. And where people don't necessarily understand what their role is in the game, they just kind of look at it like, oh, there's farm here. If I get it, then I can finish this item. And if I have more items, then I can be more useful. And they don't think about it like, okay, maybe Mirana finishes her Maelstrom, or maybe my Spectre finishes his Manta. And like, which one of those items is really better for the hero? Like, it's obviously going to be the Manta for Spectre.
Ouch! I was gonna say the Mirana. I was like, I know, it's like the Manta's pretty good on Spectre, but Mirana
Well,
with the
I mean,
Maelstrom, like
at
in a
least,
closed
looking at the
vacuum.
heroes that you're playing against, like, if Spectre has a Manta, then he doesn't just immediately die to having a Wraith King stun thrown at him.
Okay.
Like,
That's
he's
assuming
at least got
Manta
some
dodge.
way of playing out of some situations. But if Mirana just has a Maelstrom, then
Yeah.
she's gonna farm a little bit faster, that's great. Don't get me wrong, but Mirana trying to farm against an alchemist who has almost 1,000 GPM is not going to win you the game.
Dude, I just shat on him, dude. I'm so sorry. Like, the 10-minute glitch, where everybody's like even. But like, I don't know. I honestly think that somehow our win probability was above 50% without the Spectre, which is the shocking part. That's how good our draft was. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It was fun. It was fun playing the two games. The first game felt like a joke. I felt like their mid player was really bad. Like
Yeah,
even in the
it kind of
Necrophos
looks
game.
like one, to be honest.
But he's like legend. I'm not here to trash talk him. I was here about draft analysis, and we talked about a little bit about the my two heroes that we played, which is a nice add on.
Yeah, I think that was really just with the heroes that they picked, they were going to lose their side lanes, and they kind of needed to rely on having their mid lane go well, and then just the way that he decided to play the lane. So it was just kind of like, okay, well, he's letting me farm, so I'm gonna take advantage of that, and that's exactly what you did. And then the alchemist is running around with Radiance, Boots, Travel, Manta, and like half an Octarine 20 minutes into the game. And like, what do you do about that?
You cry, dude.
That's pretty much all you can do.
You just cried. 21 minutes, 39 seconds. Have this. It's like, what do you do against this guy? It's over. That's all. But I do have a scrim coming up with my RD2L team. I appreciate looking through my drafts. Maybe we'll do this in the future, but shorter time period. Just like drafts or something. I might put this video on YouTube. So, tippy cow.
Oh boy,
I'll
everyone
make
can see
0
me then.
cents. Nobody will watch it but me. I'll just click it 100 times. Not much even. I don't know. It's all over the place. Who cares? I appreciate talking about the draft. I'm happy. I had a tough time choosing which lane I wanted to be against Spectre and Enchantress as Ursa. But yeah, I felt the first game they just drafted weak, and my one regret of second game was picking Earthshaker. Because if it was some other support, man, I'm telling you, my Ursa would have took off sooner, man. Just because Earthshaker has to walk up to him, or all he has is his Q, and that's not the most reliable thing because he can screw up me too. It was just bad, but it's all good. We won both games. Anything you want to say at the end?
Not really. Thank you for listening to my shitty advice.
No, it was interesting.
I'm glad it was appreciated.
It was appreciated. I'll tell my team, listen, we're all garbage.
But your Mirana especially is pretty bad for building an Ags.
I flamed him. I flamed him in the 30 seconds, man. I saw that point booster because if one thing I beat BSJ on is I click my teammates' items. Because I know, and I think it's different because BSJ's thinking about a million other things, and he's playing at such a high level, and he just assumes his team's going the right items. At my level, man, anything can happen. You might see, you might see a Spectre rush Radiance when it's if you don't build a Blade Mail, or you don't build a Vanguard, or you don't build one item, you're just gonna die a million times, and you're never getting a Radiance. It's mind-boggling.
People wonder about oh, why am I 0-15? And then you, for you, it's really obvious. You dumb piece of shit. You didn't build this one item. Like,
But-
what were you thinking?
But they don't know. They're like, man, you just gotta get Radiance as fast as possible. And like sometimes you don't even see him build a Keela, and it's like, what are you doing? The mana regen on Spectre. Now, to be fair, mana regen on Alchemist is really good, but I just supplement it with clarities in my bottle.
I was gonna say you buy that more for the little bit of armor than it gives you, and so that you can pressure the tower easier. But
Yeah,
like,
and
the mana's
stats-
good. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, no, the stats are definitely really good, and the armor, it's like a cheaper armlet, BSJ
but yeah,
says.
for like a hero like Spectre, like literally any agility, like core, doesn't even have to be a carry. Just any agility hero, like if you have the option of buying an Aquila, you're like 98% of the time going to buy it. It's just that good. So
Yeah, I agree. I'm just greedy AF, so... It is what it is. Like he said,
Same.
Aquila definitely gives you armor, it gives you agility. I know you're greedy, carry players. If you're not greedy, what are you doing? So, I think Logical came in just briefly. He's like a Divine something player, like Divine 3 mid. And like he's like, oh, Fireman playing mid, he never plays mid. Alchemist is my baby, and playing him in any other lane besides mid just feels really weird because he's Alchemist and he needs levels. I don't know. But yeah, I don't want to go on another tangent. This video will probably be put up on YouTube, maybe. No,
all right,
9 out of 10. Thanks, Tippy. I appreciate
not
it.
a problem.
Go follow Tippy Cow. He streams very rarely, but he's Divine 5.
I tried it a couple times. It didn't go well.
He's Divine 5. He's pretty good. Well, you gotta wait till you're immortal. You gotta wait till you're immortal, and then you just put immortal, and people will be like, oh my god, he's so good. But he's Divine
I also
5.
need to wait until my internet isn't total shit, but that's another issue.
He's a Divine 5 pleb, by the way, guys. He's in the same
True.
rank as Sir Action Slacks. He's Divine 2. Well, actually, not
Oh,
right.
I'm a little offended I'm getting compared to him.
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I play with... No, I'm not even getting into that. Guys, it's just a YouTube video. Thanks for watching. I'll reboot my stream up after this. Peace.